Laughing Vikings Live. High vibe chats with actors, comedians, and creators, plus stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, and most importantly, you. That's right, join us every Monday for new episodes, and you can be a part of the show on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. Ask questions and interact in the comments, and make sure to share this with your actor, comedian, and creator friends so they can be a part of the show too. Can't make a live show? No problem. You can catch up on your favorite podcast platform and visit laughingvikings.com to find out how you can join the cast and crew. All right, it's time for today's show. Buckle up and make sure you stick around to the end because we have a special surprise for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Laughing Vikings Live. Happy Monday Fun Day. Let's go. Hey. Welcome to Audition Hero 2022. We are live here. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure those of you who are with us live, pop off in the comments. This is going to be very interactive. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. So let us know in the comments right now your name, what city you're from, and then pop off on what your dream role is. I'm your host for the day, Lars. And today we are going to be talking about how all of us can step into our dream role in 2022 as an audition hero. And here at Laughing Vikings and Actors Audition Club, what do? We help actors rehearse and record professional auditions without tech troubles, without having to bug your family and friends, so that you can book more roles in TV and film. And our mission at Laughing Vikings is to inspire, uplift, and empower a global audience of 1 billion people by helping 1,000 actors and comedians share their stories via TV, film, and live performances. And today, we're starting with you. So welcome. Just a note to the people who are watching on Facebook, you need to give StreamYard permission for us to see your names. We've got some comments coming in that just say Facebook user. So somewhere you may see a permission to give StreamYard and Facebook permission to talk to each other. And then when we see your name, we'll actually know who we're talking about. There's Alexander Wong. Hello. Alex, let us know where you're from. I think you're Toronto. We got a Facebook user saying that's amazing right now. Let us know who you are. There it is. Of course, I am Lars. Behind the scenes, I got to give a shout out. He's not on camera today, but we have Brandon Knox, aka the BK Broiler, one of our audition heroes here at Actors Audition Club. Ooh, Monine Daly. Hey, Lars. Monine here. Welcome. We're going international. Monine is from the States. We've got Joao Pinho from Portugal. Hi, Lars. He says from Evora, Portugal. Hello. I love this. This is amazing. Pippa Winslow. Hello. Pippa Winslow. Hello. She is in London, UK. Look at us. We are a globe of heroes today. Avengers, Justice League, they ain't got nothing on us. Right here, right now, these are the new heroes. Camille Blott, hello, welcome. Excited to be here from Toronto. Kevin Figueroa from Mexico. Ay. Welcome, my friends. And we have Amy Emanuel, another one of our audition heroes at Actors Audition Club, helping people rehearse and record their auditions. Keep chiming in here. I want to make sure to say hello to you guys. And remember, throughout this, even though I can't see you on camera right now, it's going to be very interactive. As you can see, we're going to bring your comments. There's going to be a lot of Q&A. There's going to be opportunities for you to ask questions, to share your dream roles, to share your struggles and frustrations. We'll have some Q&A at the very end, especially. And please make sure of a couple things. To get the most out of this, A, interact and be a part of this. B, close any other tabs, any other devices. I know we're all living in a world of, multitasking, but really there's no such thing as multitasking because our brains can really only handle one thing at a time. So you're here now, you've made the commitment to yourself to become an audition hero. So rather than be here and be 12 other places, just be here with us and hold some space. We've got Elio from Lebanon. First time here. Welcome. And the third thing I was going to say is make sure stick around to the end, because at the end of the broadcast today, we are going to announce a little contest. We're actually going to announce the finalists of another contest that we held for our current Actors Audition Club members. And we're going to throw out a new contest today for you to win a prize. I'll announce the prizes and I'll announce how the contest works. But that's only at the end. So if you bail early because you went down an Instagram or a TikTok wormhole, you're going to miss the prizes. And everyone loves prizes. Kevin Figueroa says, word. Daniel Greer, welcome from Orchard Park, Buffalo. So sorry about your Bills. Daniel Greer is still in mourning. He's going through the stages of grief right now due to his beloved Bills losing in the playoffs. Michaela Rogers, I don't know if that's a bot. She says voom.ong. I feel like that's a bot from Twitch, but welcome. We accept all types of people, human, cyborgs, and otherwise. All right. I think we could probably get into it. Welcome as you keep joining. I want to say one other thing right now is share this broadcast out. Chances are, if you're an actor, half of your friends, if not all of your friends, are actors and performers. So please make sure to share this with other actor friends, the ones that you want to see succeed at least. And share this right now on Facebook and invite them to it. They can get in last minute here. The more the merrier. The world definitely needs more heroes. So be the person in your group of actors and in your own community that uplifts and inspires and empowers others and reaches out to others. And you can do that right now by sharing this. So please go ahead, just click the little share button, share it out on your own Facebook feed, and let's see if we can get maybe 1 billion people in here today. Can we do that? Can we do that? Let me hear you say yes if we think you can get 1 billion people on the broadcast right now. 1 million? 10,000. We'll go with 1,000. Let's get this up to 1,000. All right. So who is this for? Why did we put this together? This workshop today, it is for seasoned veteran actors who have been in the business for a long time. And it's for brand new people who are just thinking about getting into the world of acting and performing in TV, film, voiceover, theater. It's a wide spectrum, and we're going to appeal to all of you, regardless of your. Camille Blott says at least 2 billion. Okay, all right. I like your optimism. So this is for anyone in any range. Doesn't matter where you are in your journey and in your career. If you've had any type of struggle with especially self-submit auditions, if you want to book more roles in TV, film, and theater, if when you ever get a self-submission request from your agent, you have any kind of tension or anxiety or worry or stress, this is definitely the place for you to be today. If you ever thought to yourself, man, when am I ever going to crack the list to the point where can give up my day job, especially, and you can start making money and earning a living from your craft rather than have to hold a soul-sucking day job, you're in the right spot. And again, the problem for a lot of people is struggling with how to get auditions, how to take advantage of those auditions, certainly how to book more roles. Often it involves tech challenges and tech troubles. I know me, if you're like me, a lot of the times before I started Actors Audition Club, it was putting cameras on books and rearranging a living room and moving lamps around and trying to wrangle family and friends, people who maybe aren't actors, to help me with auditions. And it just always made it a terrible, stressful situation. Instead of, your auditions should be a joyful experience. They should be an exciting experience. Every time you get an email from your agent for self-submit, you should see that as an opportunity to perform, an opportunity to step up to the plate and to become an audition hero, an opportunity to be a storyteller. So that's who it's for. And what's possible when you solve these problems, if you're in any of these struggle modes right now where you're not getting auditions or you're not taking advantage of them, or you're feeling stressed out and you're not feeling joyful and pumped to do auditions, well, what's on the other side of that? I just want to reassure everyone on this call that there is no better time in the history of the world, there I said it, in the history ever in the world, there's no better time to be an actor and a performer. There are more shows on more networks and more streaming platforms than ever before. There's more money in TV, film, and entertainment than ever before, more opportunity than ever before. Also, every one of us has one of these, which means even if you're not thinking about auditioning, you could just throw in your own camera. This camera right here is better than like back in the day, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. There was 5 old men who worked and controlled the studios, and they had the only cameras. So you had to get through a million gatekeepers just to get that chance. But now we live in a world where with these cameras, you have HD, you have 4K, and with the internet connection, you have a global audience of 7-8 billion people. So there is no better time to be an actor, to be a performer. You're here now, so I want to congratulate everyone for being here today, because if you're here today, it means you have a feeling inside you that that you can become more. It shows me that you have a growth mindset. That shows me that you're hungry. That shows me that you believe in yourself, and that shows me that you're willing to do what it takes to seek out more help. And honestly, if you just find one little thing today, one little tiny nugget, any one piece of information that you take from today, and then you actually apply it, that can be the thing that helps you book that one role. And I also want to reassure all of you, no matter what level you're in, no matter what struggle, doesn't matter if you've had a 20, 30-year career or you have never acted at all before, but you've always dreamt about it in your head and in your heart. Everyone on this call, you're only one opportunity away from your life changing completely. You're one audition away. A lot of people think that it has to be a 20, 30-year grind. And I would say that the best strategy is to just trust that it would be that, the classic 20-year overnight success. However, that being said, one of our acting coaches, I know we have tons of the conservatory and class members here, Tom Todoroff, he always says, and we're going to talk a lot about Tom, and you're going to hear me parrot some of his words today, but he often says, careers are made when the right actor and the right role meet. Now that takes some craft, it takes some skill. This isn't a luck game. This isn't a who do you know game. This is about what do you know. So it is about learning the craft. I will say that we're not going to get, just so you know, we're not going to get too deep into the craft of acting. I would suggest that you, if you're not already in classes, to go down that rabbit hole of learning, you need to master this craft. Highly suggest Tom Todoroff's weekly workshop and the conservatory. I've been a member of the workshop for over a year, and now I've been a member since September of his conservatory. And if you want top level training, it's amazing. But what I'm saying is all of you are really only one audition away. And what's on the other side of that audition? The dream life that you desire. These days, landing a lead or ensemble lead or even supporting in a series, that's a 6-figure, if not 7-figure opportunity. So congrats on taking the time to invest in yourself today, because that little investment, and today was free. So the only thing you're investing is your time today and your energy and your emotion. But every time you invest in yourself, the payoff is massive. So just remember that throughout this. The door is right there. The window is right there. You're so close. And we never know how close we are. That's the other frustrating thing about this. You never know when you get that email. And there's been countless scenarios in careers in Hollywood where you hear stories. John Krasinski and Brad Cooper both have those stories where they were about to give up. They were quitting. They weren't, it wasn't happening for them. They're grinding it out as a working actor, still working day jobs, still working hospitality as a waiter or busboys, dishwashers. And they stuck it out one more week. John Krasinski got The Office, and he was about to quit. And thank God for his mother, because his mother was like, no, stay for another month. And he landed The Office, and now he's, you know the rest of the story as it comes to John Krasinski. Jim from The Office, and of course, now he's Jack. What is he? Jack, what is he? Jack, I always forget. Jack Ryan, yes. The BK broiler here giving me the assist in the studio. So the stakes are huge and the opportunity is huge. So put in the time, put in the energy, knowing that at any moment the big opportunity may come, but then you got to seize it. So how do you seize it? You seize it by mastering your audition mindset, an audition system, and being a part of an audition community. So those three things are what we're going to focus on today on day one, and also day 2 and day 3, which will happen next Tuesday and Thursday. How do you get to from wherever you are to your struggles today? It's by making a transformation through your mindset first. Everything starts with a thought, and then becomes a feeling, that becomes an action, and also through a system. You need a system for everything. If you're just doing it haphazard, and I know I was like this, where every time I got a breakdown from my agent for an audition, I would always do things different. Sometimes I would spend a ton of time. Sometimes I would rehearse with a real live person. Sometimes I would spend the whole week doing it. Other times I would just get it, look at the sides, kind of get a feeling for it, and then just take a shot at it based on how I felt or based on how I initially reacted. But it was always very haphazard. And if you think about something, anything that's very high stakes, think about a surgery, think about a pilot. They have checklists and they have systems so that they don't have to think in those scenarios. They just go into autopilot. So what we're going to talk to you about over the process of these 3 days, one of those things is having an audition system so that you can just go into an autopilot scenario. So you just literally start checking boxes from the time you get an audition from your agent to the time you submit. So you're not always stressed or kind of in the dark and in the weeds and doing something different every time. Tessie, welcome, Tessie. Yes, Tessie is here from Mexico. Trace Taylor, hello, handsome dude. Strangers in the house. I love that we have so many Totter Off people here. I love you guys. I see you all day long in conservatory, and I can't get enough of you. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So I want to talk a little bit about, for those of you who don't know me, I want to answer the question because you should be thinking this right now. That question is, who the hell is this guy and why the hell should I listen to him? Because no matter where you are right now, whether you're brand new or whether you've had a 30-year career, I know people on this call right now have had a longer career than I have potentially and made more money in TV and film theater than I have. So you might be asking, and you should be asking, why the hell am I going to talk to this guy? Why do I want to listen to this guy? What's he got to add to this? So I'll tell you who I am. I go by Lars. My legal name, for those of you who don't know it already, I've got a Superman Clark Kent thing going on. I go by often a stage name of Lars Classington. Legally, I was born Joseph Frederick Larson. That's that might be a surprise to some of you. Like, oh my God, who the hell is Joe? But I go by Lars. When I started doing stand-up, I was still working in a corporate world. So I kind of had to have a little bit of separation between my performer self and my real life self. So I'm going to take you back a little bit to my origin story. I didn't, and I'll touch on it a little more later in details. Trace Taylor says, Joseph Frederick Larson, which, by the way, my initials are JFL, which are also the initials for the biggest comedy festival in the world, Just for Laughs. Little synchronicity? I think so. Coincidence? I think not. Now, so I didn't start. I know a lot of people from the time they were in grade school or high school, university, were theater geeks the whole way. And there's been no other part of their life. I wasn't like that. I went to university, got a kinesiology degree, which is the science of human movement. I mainly did that because I was interested in science and I liked it, but really I just didn't know what to do. So I talked to a guidance counselor and they were like, you could do kinesiology. And some of my friends were going to the University of Western Ontario. So I went there. Then I started a corporate career. I got into my corporate career, realized pretty quickly that life wasn't for me. Started to have what I like to call a third life crisis, where I was not motivated. I was not fulfilled in my life. And I wanted to get into a life of performing. And the first thing that drew my attention was stand-up comedy. So I got into stand-up comedy, which then very quickly led to improv and sketch comedy. That led to dinner theater and improv type dinner theater murder mystery shows. That led to moving to Toronto, Ontario, Canada here to get an agent. Started doing commercial work. that led to also background and student films. I did a ton of background as an extra. I didn't go to film school. Everything I learned on set and through workshops. Through student films, I've done a student film back in the day for every college and university in the area. I think I've done at least one for them. And that was my initial film and television training to figure out who's who and what's what and how does it work on set. And then I got into background work, was able to get an agent. And from then I've done dozens of commercials all across the board. Some of my highlights are 20 episodes of a sketch comedy show here in Canada that aired on Country Music Television Canada, CMT Canada. It was called Almost Genius. It was a real wacky sketch comedy. It was my first big gig. It was a dream gig. It was 3 months in a green screen studio with an ensemble cast of 12 stand-up, sketch, and improv comedians. When I booked that gig, that was 2015, I was like, I have arrived. This is my dream. And at that point, it was the first time that acting ever gave me a regular check. For 3 months, every Friday, I got a check for $2,400 because every week we did 2 episodes and I was being paid $1,200 an episode in this non-union show. And I was like, oh my God, this is the dream. And before that, I had only done a day here, a day there. You do a couple days on set, a day in a commercial. It was always very piecemeal up until there. So that was one huge highlight for me, 20 episodes of that show where I learned a ton, got to work with some hilarious people, hilarious directors and writers. Another big one for me was being lead in an episode of a docudrama series called Fear Thy Neighbor. My US friends on the call, you guys will love that. I'm going to say, you Americans, you love your true crime and you love your murder stories. There are so many TV shows on right now about crimes and murders and cold cases and old bones. And Fear Thy Neighbor is a show specifically about neighbor disputes. And I had the great fortune in, I think it was 2018 or 19, to be lead in one of those episodes, which was a really cool experience. It was a little unsettling because I was playing a real human being, a real person who had shot 3 people, killed 2 of them. So families were entirely ruined by that. But as an actor, it was a brilliant experience and a really intense experience, and one that was definitely not comedic for me. So it was a real different turn for me. And another big one was I did 5 episodes on a brilliant kids comedy show called Oh Yuck. That's on Netflix right now. If you go to Netflix, I think they've got 2 seasons on there. I was in 5 episodes called, and my character there was called Lou the Main Man Handy. I was Lou Handy, the maintenance man. You guys get it? The main man. Get it? See what I did there? The main man. I played kind of the wacky janitor. It's a kid's show. There was puppets. There was robots. Really cool world. There was animation worked in. That was amazing. And I remember being on that set. I did about 10 or 11 days, and it was so fun. Every time I would get the scripts, I was laughing out loud at the scripts. And in my head, I sort of treated myself as a character, sort of like a cartoon character. I was always thinking, like, what would Homer Simpson do? What would Family Guy do? What would Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura? I was thinking those wacky, it played a very, very wacky character. And I remember looking at those scripts thinking, this is so fun. And I said to the lead of that show, Kane Trammels, who's a brilliant, hilarious actor from Australia. It was a Canadian, Australian, and LA co-production. I was backstage with him, I think in wardrobe. And I said to him one day, I was like, if I never, ever, ever worked a day on set ever again on anything else, but just got to do this forever, set, just sign me up. I would, as it turned out, we only did those 2 seasons. So it didn't go on beyond that. And then my most recent big day, this was huge for me. I'm going to take you to Valentine's Day 2019. Valentine's Day 2020. So about 3 weeks before the pandemic, before the whole world went a little sideways, I found myself in minus 20 degrees on Valentine's Day on a beautiful It was a beautiful sunny day, clear blue sky, but cold as fuck. You could see your breath. And who was I standing opposite? I was toe to toe with Jason Momoa on the set of my dreams on his epic series C, $10 million an episode. It's the biggest show that's ever filmed in Canada. And I was on a set. It was a city set with, there was probably 400 crew, 500 backgrounds, and a black Escalade rolls up, and fucking Jason Momoa, like the real life superhero he is, walks up with all the presence of a hero. And I got to spend an afternoon on Valentine's Day. I know I'm making a lot of women on the call very, very jealous, but I spent an afternoon with Jason Momoa, and we were so close. I'm going to tell you this. We were so close that and here's the thing about C, we're playing blind characters. So technically in the show, we can't see, but I could smell him. He had whatever cologne he was wearing. It was the cologne of a hero. And if I were to be in a room with my eyes closed and smell that again, I would know. I would be like, Jason, is that you? And that was a brilliant day. And I remember looking around thinking, this is it. Like this, I'm going to get emotional here throughout. It was that moment where I was like, this is the arena that I want to be. That, like, it would be like a NFL football player or a Major League Baseball player or a hockey player getting his first call up and then like coming from the minor leagues and being in the big show and being like, holy shit, I've arrived, I'm here. But the interesting thing is I was there as a day player. So I knew that I was only there for one day. But for that day, I was standing opposite Jason Momoa in the exact spot that I wanted to be in my life. And I remember thinking, I'm going to be you. I remember looking at him and thinking, this is amazing. And I'm so fucking grateful for this. But the next step for me is I'm going to be in your fucking shoes, and I'm going to roll up in the Escalade, and I'm going to get to greet everyone on set as my set. He's also a producer on the show, so he was super involved with the director and the DP. He was the nicest guy ever. Everyone flocked to him. It was incredible. But I remember thinking, this is fleeting today. This is one day, but the day will come when I'm the hero in his shoes, getting to do this week after week, month after month. And it was so inspiring to see him. It was amazing. And the level that he's at as a human being, as an actor and as a producer, was just ridiculous. And fun fact, like I said, it was 20 below. And normally, for those of you who know, when you're on a set, they have the second team, the stand-ins come in for blocking, and they might work the camera, and then the actors will be back in holding. So Jason, of course, he's back in holding in his beautiful trailer. I came early because I was like, this is my only day on set. I'm not going to spend my day alone in a trailer. I want to get to set. So I went early and walked up to the second team, and I'm like, I got this. I'm good. Yeah. So second team, he got to go warm up. Freezing cold. I was in so many layers. I had electric long johns on. I had electric socks on. I had electric gloves on, all under my wardrobe. I've never been so bionic. I had all of my clothes were electric. We had battery packs. They hooked us up amazing. So kudos to them for that. But it was 20 below, and I had some of the hot pockets in my boots. So by the end of the day, because I didn't want to miss any of it, I was like, I'm not going back to holding. So I spent a good 2 hours probably in the second team's position because I knew I was only going to be here one day. So I'm like, I'm gonna take advantage of this. I'm gonna spend every second of this day. By the time they called wrap, I could barely feel my toes. I walked back to holding, like trying to not look like an idiot who doesn't know how to walk, because the tips of my toes were frozen. And you like, obviously as an actor, if you have any issues, you have an opportunity to go to production and say, hey, I need to take a break, or I'm not feeling good, I need to stand down for a minute. But if you think I was going to look Jason fucking Momoa in the eyes and say at any point, Mr. Momoa, I need to take a break because my toesies are cold, you got another thing coming. So I was like, just fucking grit this out. My toes were frozen. So that day was amazing. That was Valentine's Day 2020. And I was like, I have arrived. This was the beginning of the year. I've started the biggest year of my life. And then boom, what happened? Whisperings of this odd bat virus coming from the other side of the world. And everyone in the industry, you know, like dominoes that year around March, early March, every production shut down. And for 4 months, nothing happened. So imagine that. And I know that I'm preaching to the choir here right now. Anyone who's in the industry when that happened, it was devastating to have like literally everything I did with my life stopped right after the carrot was dangled in front of me, where I was like, this is all your dreams. You're in exactly where you want to be. And then it was all yanked away. And you guys know this, if you're on the call right now, you know that this has happened to you, where like it was an identity crisis, where it was like, holy shit, like, what do I even do now? Who am I if I'm not an actor? All of my live performances as a stand-up comic and all my live theater stopped. All of TV film stopped. Everything stopped. So for 4 months, right after all of my dreams were like dangled in front of me with Jason Momoa, right after it was just all yanked away, when I'm thinking this is the beginning. Today, Valentine's Day 2020, 2020 is my year, and then it all stopped. So now, thankfully, we've restarted and the industry has figured out a way, and we've been thriving since then. We've taken the pandemic to digitize a lot of things. We've started a podcast. We've started Actors Audition Club. So then the next phase of why you should listen to me, that's my acting career. But a fun fact about me is in 2017, I started Laughing Vikings, and we had a studio space here in Toronto. And I realized quickly early on that every time I got an audition, I was like, I need to have a home studio, which was a little before. Now everyone, because of Zoom, has a home studio already. Hopefully you do have a home studio. So I bought lights, I bought a backdrop, because I was like, I have to be able to do this on a dime. I was so tired of having to rearrange a living room and move a dining room table out of the way and take a painting off the wall and rearrange lamps and try and call a friend to read with me. So I was like, I need to just get all this stuff. So I was able to lease a studio space here in Toronto. There's a work-live studio space in the TV film district. And we started renting the studio out to other actors and to other creators. And then a friend of mine who you may meet on day 2, Mandy May Cheatham, who's a brilliant actor in her own right. She's produced and created a couple of shows that she's sold to networks in LA. And she's going to be on hopefully in day 2 to speak to that and speak about how she's created things and share her story. She suggested, she was like, you know what people need help with? Actors need help with auditions and self-tapes. It sucks having to bug a friend and like, are they going to show up? Are they going to flake out? Are they going to get their own audition? So they have to go do their own and can't help you with yours. So there was this real gap where actors were getting self-tape auditions, but nobody really had a system to do it. So we started to actually market self-tape auditions as a service, as we would do audition sessions here in person. And then since the pandemic, we've also switched to do Zoom audition sessions. And I'm really proud and happy to say that in the 4 years that we've been doing this here at Actors Audition Club, we've had thousands and thousands and thousands of actors do auditions here in person and via Zoom. Just this past year, during a global pandemic, where a lot of the times the industry was shut down, we did almost 700. Now, that's not just me personally. But for the first 3 years, I did all of them. So I had a unique situation where when I wasn't on stage or on set, I haven't had a day job since 2011, essentially. So for the past 10 years, I've only done industry-related things. I'm so grateful and blessed to be able to wake up and only do things that I love every day. And that's my wish to you, every one of you, if you're not there yet. And these 3 days at Audition Hero, we're going to get into that, and we're going to teach you how to get to that point. But when I wasn't on set, I was always doing industry things because I was meeting other actors. I was getting current sides from TV and film and theater productions, and I was a part of the casting process. So after doing thousands of these over these 4 years, think about how many sides I've seen. So I've seen who the producers are, who the directors are, who the writers are, who the casting directors are, who the casting assistants are, what kind of sides they send out, What do they want in those breakdowns? Do they want front slates? Do they want tail slates? How do they want you to be shot? How do they want the file formats? Do they want separate files? Do they want it all in one? Do they want fades? Do they want title cards? So if you're thinking, why the hell should I listen to this guy? I got a bit of the performance background as an actor, like I just explained. But now, over those last 4 years, I don't know the exact math on it, but I might have actually spent more time behind the camera directing other actors and helping them with their auditions than I have ever spent in front of the camera or on stage. It might be about 50-50 now. And why is that important? I've got a backstage sort of a behind the scenes look like a casting director would have. And not only have we done thousands, but I've done thousands of auditions with hundreds of actors here in Toronto. Via Zoom, we've connected to people all across the world to do this. And we've helped people book dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs, commercial jobs, theater jobs, lead roles in features, supporting roles in features, day players in features, ensemble leads in TV series, Netflix, HBO, all of the streaming platforms. I've had the extreme privilege of being able to help people do that. And Brandon and the other session directors can attest that there's nothing more fun. As amazing as it is when you book your own role, I'm gonna cry a lot today as I see it. I get emotional. It's these conservatory classes. We do these conservatory classes, and they just have a way of cracking us open so our emotions boil up here. What I was going to say is, I don't think there's anything more rewarding than helping another actor and getting a message that I just booked my dream role, and we get that on a daily basis. Brandon just brought me tissues. Thank you. No, I'm just going to let them pour down. I've had the privilege of getting messages that like, thank you so much. I just booked this. And I know these people personally. I know their spouses. I know they have kids. I know that they're working to get out of their day jobs. And I know, because I've gone through it, I know the struggles and I know the aspirations. And it is just the fucking best feeling in the world to know that, fuck yeah, that guy booked that. He's going to be okay for the next 6 months. He's on this series, which when they start to get big, you land one big recurring, you land one big lead. All of a sudden, like dominoes, you're getting called in by the casting director for this show and that show, and you reach a whole new level. So we're constantly privileged here to get messages from people who have booked roles. And it's the best thing. And any of you that you have kids, or if you've ever mentored anyone or done anything like big sisters, big brothers, your own victories are amazing. But if you reach a level where you can help other people, it's way more. Man, I didn't think I was going to get this emotional today. Don't worry, it's going to get more fun later. It's just way more rewarding. And if you have kids, like, everything in your life is great, but you see your child succeed at something and achieve their dreams, like, that's like, fuck all your life. That's you live for them now. So not saying that everyone that comes through here is my child, but we like to treat them that way. So that's me. That's maybe why you should listen to me. And again, throughout today, just take seeds, take a little bit. We're not complaining. We're not pretending to be the be all end all expert in this, but I have a unique perspective of helping thousands and thousands of people do auditions and succeed and book. And the flip side to that is, we've seen what works and we see what doesn't. We've seen actors come in where they're not where they need to be. And we've seen exactly what people are doing to succeed and to throw in a powerful audition that becomes a winning audition, or at least gets them noticed by casting. Maybe doesn't book them in that role, but then gets them an opportunity the next time around. And like I said, we've seen the flip side where someone comes in, they're unprepared, they don't maybe have the right mindset, and they don't get that job. And that's heartbreaking to see that. So you never want to have the feeling, every audition that you have, you want to have the feeling that you put forth your best, that was your best performance. And the mindset of, if you were to cast me in this, you hire me in this, this is my on-set performance. This is my masterpiece right here. Not this is me guessing at it. This is me trying to figure out what they want. It's about putting your best into everything like this is your dream role here, and having the mentality that you're going to book it. You should be going into audition. We know that the reality is you're not going to book everything. You shouldn't book everything. Everything isn't for you. But you got to go in it with that mentality that you're going to win it. And otherwise, what are you doing? Don't waste your time. Don't waste the session director's time. Don't waste casting's time. So that means preparing. That means going in like a professional to give your best performance, that audition hero performance, so that when you click submit on that audition, you're thinking, that's the best me that I could have given them right now. That's me in all my glory today. Hire me, and that's what you're going to get on set. Not, oh, I wonder if they like that. And certainly the worst is when you submit, and we've all done this. You click submit, and you know that that wasn't your best. You're thinking maybe like that, that's not going to book it. And we don't want that, because what's on the other side of winning these auditions? All of your dreams, 6 figures, 7 figures, the life of your dreams. And that can fucking change in a heartbeat. And the thing is, we never know when that moment's going to come. So it's that old analogy of the guy digging for gold. He's going and going and going, and then he gets stressed out. He gets tired. He's like, fuck it. I spent 10 years digging for gold. I'm out of here. And then unbeknownst to him, little did he know, he was 2 fucking feet away from hitting the mother load. So for any of you who are feeling those struggles, just keep going. Today, hopefully, is going to really help with that. And you may be booking the role of a lifetime here very shortly. You just don't know exactly when it's going to come. Same analogy is, those old school wells where you got to pump on that old school well to get the water up, and you're just pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping. And the water's slowly coming up, but you don't know where the water is because you can't see the pipes in the ground. And if you're pumping and pumping and pumping and you get tired and you stop, all of a sudden the water pressure, it stops, and all that water goes back down to the bottom of the well. And you did all that for nothing. So you just got to keep going. So that's me. So the promise of today's video is, by the end of today, we're going to get you straight mentally and at least on the path to developing your own audition hero mindset. How to think about your career as an actor, how to step into your own dream role as an audition hero, and how to make 2022 the year that you leave all the victim stuff behind you and all your struggles and frustrations, and you step in and you be the hero of your own life and of your family's life and of your community's life, because there's other actors around you that if you step up, you book that thing, you might be the reason that other people keep going and then they don't quit. So it's about stepping into that hero mindset and developing that role model mindset where all of a sudden your life and your career becomes more than just you. Because if it's all about you, it does get tiring and it gets frustrating, and it's easy to quit when it's all about you, because it's just your own life. But I can't quit right now, because then a million of you guys aren't going to have me to help you guys out. So now I'm committed to you guys. I'm stuck. You got me. I'm never quitting. So that's the promise of today: how to think about auditions, how to think about mindset. So we want to get into this, and I want to qualify some of your problems. I love these comments. Keep these comments coming by. I know that I've been talking and I haven't been acknowledging some of them, but let me take a break. Facebook user, I wish I knew your name. You are the reason for me to continue acting. I fucking love that. I love that. You don't even have to send me a check. Don't worry about it. Joao, we are all together, united. Heart sign. Thank you, Lars. Trace Taylor says, love and appreciation, Mr. Dude. Aaron Elizabeth Reed. Lars, forever, 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 forever. That's vocal variation, by the way. All right. Did we miss any good ones? Greg Burke. I want to say hello to Greg Burke. He says, doing great. All right. So next phase, I want to make this a little interactive now that you know a little bit about me and why we're here today. Is I want you to start firing off in the comments. We're going to talk problem, and then we're going to talk solution. You might see me go blurry. That's not the camera, by the way. My superhero character name that I aspire to play is called the Blur. This is actually a human skill that I have where I can vibrate really fast and make myself blurry so that closed circuit cameras can't see me, and I can run into extreme situations and no one can identify me. I'm the Blur. So right now in the comments, I want you to tell me, and I know a lot of you popped off in the Facebook group. Thank you for all of you who have joined the Facebook group. If you haven't yet and you're watching this on our Laughing Viking page, request to join the specific Audition Hero Facebook group. But what I want to hear from everyone right now, and we're going to work through some of this with you. Hello, Ksenia. That's what I thought. Superpower, the Blur. I want you to share, what are you struggling with right now? Not what was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And I want you to think in terms of thoughts. And you can think of terms of, what do you say to yourself when you're going through those struggles, those dark moments? What is the reality of the situation too? Like if someone were to videotape your life as an actor or your audition life as an actor, what is your day-to-day struggle? Like what do they actually see? I want to start defining some of your problems. I'll start. Brandon Knox, the BK Broiler here. His dream role is to play Richard III and a Disney prince. Kudos to you, Brandon. He wants to play a prince and a king. Maybe you can be a prince. Was Richard III ever a Disney prince? I don't think so. Maybe you should write a Disney thing where Richard III is a young Disney prince and then he graduates to become king. I don't know. We're just spitballing here. Yes. Shaquille James Hostin here, Mansa King says you should send Jason this. He would appreciate it. So here's the question. Brandon, his dream roles are Richard III and Disney prince. Right now, I want to hear your struggles or frustrations. What are your struggles and frustrations? And we're going to work through some of these. Brandon says laziness and motivation. Elio from Facebook, I'm a beginner, but since I was a child, many people told me to act. God bless those people. I've always been inspired and so mesmerized by actors and the whole idea of acting. But my problem is I don't know how to start and who to help me. I tried acting a scene and posted on YouTube. Got 124 views. Congratulations. You already did start. Then there you go. What are you talking about? I got so happy, but now I don't know what to do. My whole dream since childhood has been acting. Well, Elio, congratulations to you. You're in the fucking right place. You met an amazing community of people. There's a ton of people in the comments that when you become friends with them, they're going to help you. We'll help you. In a nutshell, I would say keep going. The thing about acting is you can act every day with your own camera. You can read aloud. You can find friends. There's a difference between getting to the point where you're paying all your bills with acting and you're doing it professionally. But in the beginning, if it's feeding a desire inside you in your heart and your brain and a creativity and that kind of desire, don't wait for people to green light that. Don't wait for gatekeepers to say, oh, here's an audition. You can act every day. Find scenes, reenact scenes. You can DM us some of these questions. If we don't specifically answer your question on today's broadcast, it's just because we've got a sort of a honed itinerary of content. But feel free anytime. You can DM me or you can email lol@laughingvikings.com. That's lol@laughingvikings.com. And you can ask specific questions. So let's go through some of these struggles here. Deanna Shinsky says, bring them up on screen there, Brandon, if you can, and I'll just read them out. Deanna Shinsky says, not putting out my best work. Yeah, been there, done that. That's what you want. It's like you want to know every time that's the best that I can do right now, versus feeling that you're not getting it. Lack of representation. Okay, so finding an agent, finding management. I will say to whoever that is, don't let lack of representation stop you. Again, that's a mindset thing. Throughout all this, think about all these thoughts. Remember that thoughts are thoughts are things, but they're not you, and thoughts aren't necessarily the reality. Thoughts are just a story that you're saying. So if the loop in your head is, I can't be an actor because I don't have representation, you're letting that thought and that obstacle stop you dead in your tracks when you could be acting every day. And now in the world of non-union casting and casting websites, There's a million ways that you can find auditions. There's a brilliant actor here in Toronto that's very successful, Tazito Garcia, Taz Garcia. Shout out to Taz. We got to go grab burgers soon, Taz. He also runs an event called Movie Expo, and Taz doesn't have an agent, and yet he's writing, he's producing, he's creating. He's got a network of people that he's reaching out. He's getting bookings all the time. He works like crazy, and he doesn't have an agent. So, and there's tons of people who don't have agents. So please don't let that be the thing that stops you. What else? Bring the next one up, Brandon. Feeling too out of the box, that it's difficult to get cast. Tessie, I love that. And I mean, I think that you know the answer to that, Tessie, is that feeling of being out of the box is at the same time your best skill. That's your best ace in the hole. The fact that you are as unique as you are, and that you are a bit of a wild card. You speak fucking every language. Tessie speaks like 7 languages. Tessie, pop off in the comments how many languages. Let me know what languages you speak. And you're so brilliant that and Ksenia, I'm going to shout you out on this too. Ksenia is originally from Belarus, I believe, a European country. So she has an accent, and I'm going to call you out on this. Ksenia often says, "Oh, well, they're not casting for someone with an accent." I mean, people love accents. Everyone loves. Say in the comments how much you love meeting someone with an accent right now. So if someone's saying like, "Oh, we need you to have perfect American English," okay, maybe that's not the role for you. But there's so many roles that that's not an excuse. Just let go of those excuses. And throughout this, just ask yourself the question, what if I just dropped this? What if this was the year where not having representation, having a feeling of imposter syndrome, feeling that I'm different, or whatever these struggles are, what if this was the year where I just let go of that and just decided to tell myself a different story? What if I just told myself the story that I am a fucking hero, and that I deserve everything, and that I can get everything, and if I don't know it all right now, I can learn it all. Meaning release the brakes on yourself. Think about, really clock how many thoughts, and we all do this. And by all means, I'm not saying that I don't either. All of us do this as human beings. Think about how many thoughts we have that are the brakes on our own life. Most of the times, hopefully, it's not other people saying you're no good or you can't do this. A lot of the times, it's our own fucking shitty inner monologue that's telling ourselves, "Oh, you're not good enough for this. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, when's it ever going to happen for you?" So just throughout all this, release those and just try the experiment this year. What if it's an experiment of letting go of that story? What if I told myself I can be a top actor without representation? Or what if you told yourself, I'm going to be so good, representation comes to me. People see how good I am. And you know what? They're like, "What? You're not represented? Fuck, sign on the dot." All right, pop off with some more challenges here. Elio says, what's Elio say? Pippa Winslow, thank you. Combination of patience and belief in myself are my main challenges. Lots of auditions at the moment, but not booking lately. Yeah, that's a reality. And I've been through that too, where you go through a spell. And that's the thing too, is everyone who's been in this, you know that there is a situation where you can be putting amazing work forward every time. You could be, and Pippa, I know you, and I know you're a powerhouse, and you're a veteran too. So any of these productions should be so lucky to have you on board. And you could be the lead in many of these productions. But the chips don't always fall that way. And the reality is, there's way more reasons that you might not get cast that have nothing to do with your own performance, as we know. So it is a matter of making sure that every performance, every audition, what you don't want is, you don't ever want auditions that you're submitting that aren't your best, because then you don't know why you didn't get it. You don't ever want to be like, did I not get that because I wasn't my best? You want to know, fuck yeah, that was the best I've ever done. I did one last night, best audition I've done at this point. Couldn't have been better. Thank you, Tom Todoroff, and the conservatory, because it was jammed full of training with him. And I went into it with the proper mindset. When I got the script, I broke it down the way I wanted to. BK Broiler, shout out to you. I was amazingly happy with it. And if that performance, that, like, I would be happy they could just take that one. Don't even hire me. Just take the self-tape and plug it in with CGI. But if they don't cast me in that, I know that I did my part, and I'm super happy with that. And that's the feeling that you want, Pippa, is that you just did your best. So yeah, the patience thing is hard, but what can I say? I know you're in it for life, and you wouldn't have been here as long as you already have if you weren't that way. So you just got to continue to stick it out and trust. And then maybe the flip side to that, Pippa, you're at the level where start creating your own projects, start writing your own things, write your own one-woman show, write your own series, start pitching that. Again, Mandy May Cheatham, who hopefully will be able to join us on Tuesday, can help with the other side of things, because it's a world of when you're early on, you're going to book jobs by auditioning. You get to an A-list level or to the level where you're working so much that you might be getting offers. But until then, we're all in an audition game. We're all scrapping it out, proving to gatekeepers that we're the person for the job. And until you get to that point, you got to keep scrapping it out in the audition world. But for you, Pippa, I would say the next step is 50-50. Keep auditioning, keep putting forth your best work, but then just start writing your own things. The Pippa Winslow show. That's the show that we all want to see, is the Pippa Winslow show. All right, what else we got? Pull up a couple more struggles here, Brendan. Alexander One says, motivation. The last few years have been tough for all of us. Yeah, of course, it's a weird world. I mean, motivation's a tough one. You've heard the saying is like, it's like, well, why do you got to get motivated every day? Well, you don't have to bathe every day either, but we do. It's a constant battle of every day, filling yourself with positive motivation. The fact that you're joining groups like these, surrounding yourself with other positive people, use social media as a tool. I would say follow people on social media that are inspirational, that are in spots where you want to be, so that rather than being on social media for garbage or for getting in that mode of comparison where you're seeing what other people got and being jealous of them, fill your social media with inspirational things, develop a community, and just keep going. But yeah, I feel you, Alexander. Motivation is tough. It's a tough one. What else we got? Hello again. Elio says, sorry for so many questions. Is it possible to become an actor at 17 and from overseas? If yes, is there a possibility to audition to Netflix or anything from overseas and not local? Definitely. And this is the time in the world where that actually happens. A lot of shows cast a much wider net because they want to find a diamond in the rough. We're not looking for names. They're looking for new faces. You might have to connect with the right people to find where those castings are. But you can, I would suggest throughout this, friend some of these people in the community and follow up with me through a DM. We can answer some of those specific questions. But absolutely, people overseas right now, we're in a global market. I would start with your own market in whatever city you live in and look for filmmaking groups, casting groups, and what's shooting in your area, and connect with them first. So you can build a strong home base, but then graduate to being global. But all of us, we're living in a global village right now. Look at this Facebook group right now. Like every continent is pretty much, I don't know that we have someone from Africa here, but I think we got, what do we got? South America, we got Europe, we got North America, we got the Middle East. So we got everything covered here. You're in a global community right now. So Elio, if you're wondering, there's people on this call, myself is one of them. I've been on a Netflix show. So right now you're 1 degree from Netflix. I've never worked with Kevin Bacon, so you might be a couple degrees from Kevin Bacon. All right. Any other struggles that you're working with right now? Tessie says, the pandemic has been devastating on performers, but it also been a huge opportunity for training, building relationships, being grounded, having a strong, solid community and support circle. I can say that absolutely. No other time in my life have I invested more time, energy, and money to training and education. Not just acting, but tons of acting classes through Tom Todoroff's weekly workshop. Everything shut down in the world. They switched to Zoom workshops. And then every Saturday for a year, for 5 hours, I was in a class with Tom and his world-class instructors doing voice and speech, doing scene analysis and scene study, monologues, scenes, cold reads, audition pieces. And throughout the pandemic, no matter what happened in the week, often when things were still shut down, I knew that no matter what, every Saturday I had that like acting church to go to and an acting community, and I knew that I would show up. And there's a magic thing that starts to happen. The more you show up, the more you start to change, and you develop that discipline of showing up. Your confidence builds because you're like, oh, I'm a person who shows up week in, week out, is working towards improving. And it's a constant journey, and it's a constant improvement. And then for me, also the conservatory. I'm currently in a conservatory with many of you. For those that don't know, it's the Tom Todoroff Conservatory, typically based in New York. But now, because of COVID, it's an international hybrid scenario where there's people in New York, but people tuning in from all over Zoom, meeting people from all over the world. But I don't know that I would have had that time if not for the pandemic. We're doing 20 hours a week of classes, plus watching films and reading plays and rehearsing and building projects and doing all these things. And I don't know that I ever would have been able to do that without the pandemic. So a lot of this is having the mindset of every time something that you could see as negative happens in your life, see the silver lining to that and see the opportunity to it. So instead of thinking, oh no, why did this happen to me? Think, oh, amazing. Why did this happen to me? Think that you're lucky. Have the feeling that life is happening for you, not to you. So every time something happens, it's this fucked up scenario. It might be a fucked up scenario, but then you're like, oh, what's the lesson here? What is the silver lining? What can I learn? What is this test being sent to me for to learn? Who do I need to become to overcome this? Which is a lot of that hero mindset. So any other struggles? Deanna Shinsky, balancing the craft with day job money. Of course. Yeah. And my advice to you there would be spend as much time in your waking hours devoted to the craft outside of your day job, and then start to be specific on revenue streams. And I know the conservatory is really helping that as well, between learning commercials and voice acting and getting your marketing and your business materials together. And then actually setting some of your goals too. Like, how do you want to work? And there's so many ways. There's other side jobs that you can do. You can work locations. You can work on set. You could be a PA. You could be a casting assistant. These days, casting mostly is on Zoom. So you could be a casting reader, and you could be at home on Zoom all day long, reading for other actors behind the scenes, sort of like we have been able to do here at Actors Audition Club. So finding those other opportunities and working on that. Deanna, you can shoot me a DM specifically on that. And I've been through that, so we can help that as well. Facebook user says, I've been struggling to create independent movies and TV shows for festivals and Netflix streaming in Portugal with worldwide artists to launch. That must be Joao, yeah? What do you recommend, Lars? I mean, number one, just keep doing it. It's kind of the mindset of do as much with what you can, where you can, with what you got at all times to move the ball forward. You might have limited money, you might have limited resources, you might have a limited network, but do as much as you can. And then the magical thing happens, especially if you're positive about it and sharing your goals. That's where setting goals comes in. Because that's why I say those things of like, what is our goal? Our goal is to uplift and inspire and empower 1 billion people globally. I keep saying that because other people hear that and they're like, oh, wow, this guy seems like he's on a fun journey. Maybe I'll hop on board that journey. So it's sharing some of those goals with other people, getting a team of people to do that, but just continue to move the ball forward. One of my mentors, Brendan Burchard, who some of you may know from the app Growth Day, he talks about just three steps every day. What are 3 things every day that you can do to move the goals closer? Is that reading a book? Is that joining a Facebook group? Is that attending a Facebook Live? Is that sending a DM to someone? We also live in a world where everyone is almost accessible. Like you could just sit on your Instagram DMs all day and DM people and some of them might come through, and all of a sudden you have a relationship with someone who can open some doors for you. But you don't want to wait for doors to open. You want to open doors for yourself. We got some specific audition questions about takes. If doing 2 takes, how do you slate? Specific audition, technical audition things we're going to talk more about on day 2. Today's going to be more mindset and transformational, how to think here about auditions. And then on day 2, we're going to talk specific about storytelling craft and home setup and studio setup. And then day 3, we're going to talk more about community and sort of a little bit more on systems, how to set up your own audition system so that the second you get an audition, you just go in that autopilot mode where you're like, check, 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 check until you submit a winning audition. I mean, we've already covered some of it. Tessie says, how not to give the impression that you are so desperate for the role. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, the reality is you're not, Tessie, because there's a million roles out there. Ultimately, you're so strong and powerful that you can write your own things and create your own things. I know what you mean, to be the starving artist, and also it's not that role. Even if you get that role, it's coming from within you. It's not coming from them. So it's not really a situation of you asking for a handout, going to them, hey, give me a role because I need to eat. It's more so you switching to the mindset of you're feeding yourself. It's sort of that idea of like millionaires and business magnates and stuff. If you took everything that you had, that they have away from them, they'll be able to get it all back because everything that they ever made came from them anyways. All that money and all those ideas that they had to start companies and to build products and sell them, if you stripped it all away, it's all coming from within anyways. So just trust that it comes from you. Yes, Trace says, do not changing representation so I am better represented. Yeah, some of you at certain points in your life right now, if you don't have a good working relationship with an agent where you have open communication, they know what you want. They're sending you out for the things that you want. Then yeah, like any relationship, you need to communicate well and you need to identify what you want and make sure it's a good symbiosis. So yeah, for some of you that might mean having a State of the Union type meeting with representation and deciding, okay, is this the year that you move forward together and reach the next level? A lot of the times it's just a communication thing where ultimately, if you think of being one of 50 or 100 people on a roster, they just may not know what you want and what you're aspiring to. So it's letting representation know what you're working on, classes that you're taking, what are all the steps, showing them that you're very hungry and that you're working towards things, but putting those goals out there. Because it's like nobody can help you if you don't know what you want and you haven't communicated that. But the second that you start communicating that and really over communicating that, just magical shit starts to happen in your life where all of a sudden things are aligning and you are and it's happening. That's why anyone who's ever written down goals or journaled or is in the category of manifesting things, you start to really focus on that, and then the universe just starts to bring it together for you. But if you don't know yourself, then how the hell is the universe going to know that? Just want to talk a little bit about, you feel free to throw in some of your struggles and we can maybe bring them up. But I want to talk just a little bit about mindset, and then we're going to go to some Q&A at the end. So when you get an audition, and I touched on this earlier, how are you thinking? And you want to be thinking as a hero. You want to see yourself as the hero of your own life. And so maybe I should take a second and say, what is a hero? All of us play 4 roles in our lives, and there's 4 roles in every story, at least 4 roles. There's a victim, there's a hero, there's a villain, and there's a guide. The victim is someone who has given up, all hope is lost, they've been wronged, they've been offended, they've been hurt, they've had things taken away from them. all hope is lost. They've lost. It's over. It's done. And all of us in our lives have been there. Someone has wronged you. Someone rear-ended you, and it certainly wasn't your fault, and you feel like a victim. But being the victim is always the weakest choice, as Tom Todoroff always says. And being a victim, it might get you some things short-term, gets you some empathy, gets you some sympathy, might get you some condolences, but it ultimately doesn't get where you want in life. There's the villain, of course. The villain, what's the villain do? The villain makes people feel small. The villain hurts people. The villain takes things from other people, usually because they didn't get enough hugs themselves. But occasionally we're all, hopefully not regularly, but all of us at some point have been a villain and done some hurtful things and or said some hurtful things. There's the hero, though. And who is the hero? The hero is a regular person, just like us. We're all humans. We're all born, I think. None of you are built. None of you were conceived by immaculate conception. We're all regular humans, regular DNA, born on Earth. And the hero is faced with a challenge that they're not ready to overcome. They don't have the skills to overcome it. Daunting. Think about Luke Skywalker and who's his villain? Darth Vader. Well, when you first meet Luke, he's not a Jedi. He doesn't have any of the skills. He doesn't have a lightsaber. He doesn't have one of them fancy guns. He doesn't have a spaceship. He's a farmer. He's farming water on Tatooine and repairing robots. But he's faced with this situation where he's got to be the guy. So what does he do? He goes to his guide, Yoda, in Dagobah, starts to learn to become a Jedi, and then was like, all right, I know what I need to know. I'm going to take down Darth Vader. So being the hero mindset, it doesn't mean you need to be a superhero. And notice that this was not called Audition Superhero. None of us have superhero tendencies, although I have the blur. I do have that ability. That's real. We're heroes, but that just means there's skills and mindset and things that you need to learn. It might mean a skill you need to learn, a craft you need to learn. It might mean a little more experience. It might mean you meeting your guide, you meeting your mentor, your coach, you meeting your Tom Todoroff, and finding someone who has been there. And the guide is someone who's been a hero so many times. They've been in those situations so many times that now they can help other people get there. Brandon, this is a good time. Can you bring up the hero's journey slide? All right. You might need to make this big on your devices. Make it as big as you can, Brandon. I'll try and make mine big here too. So here's the story's journey. And the amazing thing, this is why I love speaking in terms of audition hero, because you got to be the only hero in our lives. But a lot of you, the roles that you want in TV and film are often, if you want a lead role, you're going to end up being the hero of a story. Although some of us love to play villains too. Villains are fun on screen. Don't be a villain in your real life. Be a hero in your real life or a guide. Never be a victim. But in film, sometimes you might want to be a hero or a villain. And so hero's journey, I love this because there's so much parallel between real life and movie life. You start, and I'm going to use Frodo as an example. I know Deanna Shinsky loves Lord of the Rings. So Frodo, what's he doing? Chilling in the Shire, living the life. What does he do? He was cutting grass or something. He's taking care of, just working, hanging out with his buddies, drinking that Shire ale, smoking that Shire weed, just having fun with, what's his name? Who's his buddy? Sam. Yes, Sam. Sam and Frodo. And all of a sudden, who comes out of nowhere? Gandalf the Grey. And is like, oh, fuck, the world's going to hell. The Ring of Power, blah, blah, blah. You're the guy. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm not the guy. I'm just a little hobbit here in Hobbit Town. I'm not the guy. I don't have any of that. Refusal of the call. So refusal of the call is, not for me. Now, some of us, maybe you've already done this. Maybe for the people who aren't actors yet, you've thought about this, hopefully, maybe for many, many years. But the fact, if you haven't quite made that leap, or maybe some of you have been an actor, but you've never released your day job. So there's some push and pull of you wanting what's on the other side of the hero's journey, but resistance of you refusing to quite answer that call. Why? Because it's scary as fuck. So you meet that mentor, though, you're Gandalf, who's like, here, hold my hand, hold my arm, I'm going to take you. Crossing the threshold. You remember in Lord of the Rings, they got to that point, Sam and Frodo, where they were like, oh shit, this is the farthest we've ever been away from the Shire. And for some of you, that might mean you move overseas, or crossing the threshold might mean you leave your old job behind. Some of you, that might mean crossing the threshold into a conservatory or into a training situation where all of a sudden now you're in uncharted territory. So boom, second act. This is where the adventure comes in. What happens in second act? All these tests, you're going to meet allies like here today. All of a sudden you're on this journey. I'm on a journey right now. And I want to tell all of you, I'm not a guy. I'm in today's context, I'm a guide, but I'm still a hero, just like all of you. I'm still figuring this out. I'm still on my own hero's journey, but simultaneously I've been able to be a guide as well. But on my journey, now all of a sudden I have all these allies from around the world through workshops and conservatory, where I know people around the world because of this. So I've got a team and a network and a community of people. You might have enemies. Now, where are these enemies coming from? Unfortunately, most of them are in your own mind. You may also have people in your life, and you got to protect yourself from those people. And just realize this, could be a spouse, could be a brother, sister, could be a parent. Oh, you're never going to make it. When are you ever going to do this? Oh, just you need to go back to school. Get your head out of the clouds. When are you going to get a real job? All those kind of things. And the thing that I would urge you to do is remember that hopefully most of those people, the reason that they're saying that is out of love. They just don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you hurt. But often it's because they themselves aren't on their own hero journey. So they'll have a feeling where it's uncomfortable to see someone change and grow. Because what happens if you do get the dream of your life and all the life of your dreams, sorry, and all of a sudden you're off and then you leave them behind in their boring old regular life, then you're gone. So some of that resistance might be just because they want to keep you around. But the enemy in your own head. So we got to eliminate the enemy in our own head. So all of those self-doubts, negative self-talk, all of that imposter syndrome, know that it's so natural and it's so human. It's a human experience. Doesn't matter who you are. Guaranteed Meryl Streep right now at some point in the last 6 months was like, oh, what the fuck am I doing? Can I even do this? Meanwhile, she got a mantle full of Oscars. So it is normal, but you want to shut that voice up as quickly as possible. And clock this. Think about your own self-doubt and your own struggles and the things you say to yourself, and ask yourself, would you accept someone that you didn't know saying that to you, or someone that you do know? Imagine yourself saying, I'm never going to book a lead role, or, oh, that sucked. I'm no good. Imagine if someone you didn't know came up and was like, you suck as an actor. You're never going to book a role. Hopefully you'd say to that person, fuck you. So you need to tell that person, that negative person in your mind, the enemy of your own mind, to fuck off every once in a while. So that inner cave, in Star Wars, the inner cave is, remember when he's in Dagobah and he goes into that murky cave and he sees Darth Vader and he fights Darth Vader and he beheads Darth Vader, and the head rolls off and Vader's head opens and it's Luke's head inside. So he's like, oh, I see. Sometimes the dragon you need to slay is the dragons in your own head. The ordeal, the big test, seizing the reward, and that death and rebirth. So some of you on the call right now, you need to allow a past self, a past version of yourself to die and leave that person behind. It might be like an inner child type self. Take care of them and love that inner child self. But you might need to be saying, you know what? You served your purpose, but I need to say goodbye to you and I need to become someone else. And then the third act, what do? That's the road back home. That's when you're resurrected, atonement. You bring back the magic elixir to the town. You have the big celebration. You have the rap party. You invite all your friends to your mansion. and you show them your Emmys and your Oscar on your mantle, and then you're off to the races. So that's the hero's journey, but it begins with a mindset. So really today is all about stepping up to become the hero in your own journey and in your own life, so that once you become the hero in your own life, you can be cast in these brilliant productions where they need a hero to step up in film and in that story. Brandon, can you roll that video? How's everyone doing? Pop off in the comments. Let me know if this is computing. Let me know if you're ready to gain that audition hero mindset. The world needs more heroes. You guys going to pop off and become heroes or what? Let me see what I can see here. Monine Daly is feeling this. All right. Put it on the vision board. Yeah, that's a great thing too. Throughout all this, what do you want? All these goals, see these things on a daily basis, every day. Deanna Shinsky says, thank you, Laughing Vikings, for being the Gandalf in my life. Yes, I'm not quite Gandalf the Gray. I'm certainly not Gandalf the White. I have a little gray, actually. I got a little gray in here. I'm Lars Dolph the Gray. Erin Elizabeth Ree says, loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Tessie says, beautiful, Lars. Check out the Heroine's Journey book by Maureen Murdoch also. Thank you. Trace says, super dude. Pippa says, love this. Facebook user says, hearty face. All right. So we want to just show a quick video talking about heroes and hero mindsets, especially as they relate to TV and film. A little bit of a recap of what I just talked about. So roll the clip.
What do Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo all have in common with the heroes of ancient myths? What if I told you they are all variants of the same hero? Do you believe that? Joseph Campbell did. He studied myths from all over the world and published a book called The Hero with 1,000 Faces, retelling dozens of stories and explaining how each represents the monomyth or hero's journey. So, what is the hero's journey? Think of it as a cycle. The journey begins and ends in the hero's ordinary world, but the quest passes through an unfamiliar, special world. Along the way, there are some key events. Think about your favorite book or movie. Does it follow this pattern? Status quo, that's where we start. 1 o'clock, call to adventure. The hero receives a mysterious message, an invitation, a challenge. 2 o'clock, assistance. The hero needs some help, probably from someone older, wiser. 3 o'clock, departure. The hero crosses the threshold from his normal, safe home and enters the special world and adventure. We're not in Kansas anymore. 4 o'clock, trials. Being a hero is hard work. Our hero solves a riddle, slays a monster, escapes from a trap. 5 o'clock, approach. It's time to face the biggest ordeal, the hero's worst fear. 6 o'clock, crisis. This is the hero's darkest hour. He faces death and possibly even dies, only to be reborn. 7 o'clock, treasure. As a result, the hero claims some treasure, special recognition, or power. 8 o'clock, result. This can vary between stories. Do the monsters bow down before the hero, or do they chase him as he flees from the special world? 9 o'clock, return. After all that adventure, the hero returns to his ordinary world. 10 o'clock, new life. This quest has changed the hero. He has outgrown his old life. 11 o'clock, resolution. All the tangled plot lines get straightened out. 12 o'clock, status quo, but upgraded to a new level. Nothing is quite the same once you're a hero. Many popular books and movies follow this ancient formula pretty closely, but let's see how well The Hunger Games fits the hero's journey template. When does Katniss Everdeen hear a call to adventure that gets the story moving? When her sister's name is called from the lottery. How about assistance? Is anyone going to help her on her adventure? Hey, Mitch. What about departure? Does she leave her ordinary world? She gets on a train to the capital. Okay, so you get the idea. What do you have in common with Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo? Well, you're human, just like them. The hero's journey myth exists in all human cultures and keeps getting updated because we humans reflect on our world through symbolic stories of our own lives. You leave your comfort zone, have an experience that transforms you, and then you recover and do it again. You don't literally slay dragons or fight Voldemort, but you face problems just as scary. Joseph Campbell said, "In the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure you seek." What is the symbolic cave you fear to enter? Auditions for the school play? Baseball tryouts? Love? Watch for this formula in books, movies, and TV shows you come across. You will certainly see it again, but also be sensitive to it in your own life. Listen for your call to adventure. Accept the challenge. Conquer your fear and claim the treasure you seek. And then do it all over again.
I can be your hero, baby. I can chase away your pain. I will stand by you forever. You can take my breath away. All right, we got some heroes in there. Who's popping off as heroes? Tessie, you're definitely a hero. You're one of my heroes, Tessie. You're amazing. You speak every language. Tessie speaks like every language on earth. Joanna Whaley, thank you. Joanna Whaley says, "You rock, Lars." Actually, Ksenia says, Joanna Whaley says, "You rock, Lars." Yes. So hopefully you guys all saw yourself in that video. It's the time to step up, to be the hero in your own lives, and to claim that reward that you want. And it's all there. So I just want to share. I want to share one more story about relating to my origin story. I'm one of three sons. I'm the baby in my family. My oldest brother is a musician and artist in New York City, and my middle brother, he was a drummer and he was a producer and he was an agent. He was in bands in New York City. We're dual citizens. I was raised and grew up in New York. My two other brothers I was raised and grew up in Toronto. My two other brothers were more so raised in New York and spent a lot of time there. My middle brother, James, he was in several bands. He was drumming in several bands, creating his own music, writing his own music. And while he was a musician, obviously a musician, much like actors, can be a rough go, financially, at least in the beginning. So his day job, he became a music agent. He actually worked for a booking agency in New York City. Originally, he was with an agency called ABC, and then he got a job with ICM, which I think now is amalgamated to be a bigger agency. But ICM, one of the largest agencies in the world, represented, at the time when he was with them, they were representing Alicia Keys and all kinds of other top, like A-list names. And it was his job when he wasn't booking and producing his own music gigs in New York City with his own bands. He was helping book these other super gigs for other people, living his dream. So my brother was 33 years old in New York, literally living his dream. At the time, I was living in Alaska and I was running a life insurance office. I'm going to repeat that. In 2003, I was living in Anchorage, Alaska. I was a sales manager with a life insurance company. And it was a great company, great financial opportunities and growth opportunities. In the corporate world, it was great. However, if I asked you, any of you right now, picture a hero, picture your dream life. None of you would guess, oh, dream life, sales manager at a financial services office. Meanwhile, my brother's in New York City, living his fucking dream, doing everything he wants to do, and fighting that fight. And every year he was getting bigger and better gigs. And doing better financially. And in when was it? In February of 2003, he was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. He was 33 years old, perfect health, like me, big, athletic, physically fit. I think he socially, maybe occasionally smoked a little bit, drank a little bit, partied a little bit, but nothing crazy, very healthy. He was having heartburn and problems like, what do you call it? Like just gastro problems. And he went to the doctor and they did a scope, like a probe, and they found nodules on his esophagus, right at the bottom of his esophagus, top of his stomach, that were cancerous. And luckily, he was very healthy. It was so rare, like the average patient of an esophageal cancer patient is like a 68-year-old man. So for them to see it in a 33-year-old was very rare. He had the best hospital in New York City, Sloan Kettering in New York City. We had family ties to that hospital. So he instantly was fortunate enough through nepotism to get to the top of the list, seen by the best specialist, and he was prescribed a regimen of radiation and chemo. And he was given what they prescribed him at the time based on what he had, based on his age and his other health, which was pretty clean. They were told like 97% of the time, you're going to be okay with this based on who you are, because you're way too young and you're way too healthy, and this is just rare. And then at the end of that, so they did that. Radiation went well, chemo went well, and then the plan was to go in for a day surgery, fairly serious day surgery. They actually would have had to crack open his ribs, and they were going to remove the bottom of his esophagus and the top of his stomach and stitch them together to make sure that none of the cells there, they were like, okay, we think radiation and chemo did it, but we're just going to get rid of any of it and just you'll be good. And he would have been fine after that. 3 days before he was going to go into surgery, he went for the typical CAT scans and MRIs. Before you go into surgery, they always do one last look and make sure there's no surprises, make sure that there's nothing that they didn't miss. And they found something weird in his collarbone. And the cancer had spread. So despite this 97% prognosis, despite the fact that he was in perfect health, it had spread to his collarbone. And then they realized it was in his bones, it was in his spinal fluid, it was in his brain. And so at that point, once cancer is metastasized, they rarely do any surgeries. Because then it's like, well, we're not just going to do a surgery here and a surgery there and start taking out all the pieces of your body. It's like, if it's in one spot, we can deal with that. So all of a sudden, he went from being like this close to finishing the treatment. By the way, throughout all this, he was working. He would do chemo and then he'd have a gig at night. He would have radiation and then he'd be all day working, booking, because that was what he loved. He was a bull that way. Like, he wouldn't take a break because he was playing his game. And so that was July of 2003. So he was diagnosed in February. July of 2003, we got that word that the prognosis wasn't going to be good. By a month later, August 2003, the doctor said you could last 2 months to 2 years. Right? And he died in December. I was very lucky to be able to be with him in December in New York City, like a fucking hero, like a rock star that he was. I remember it vividly. They did a benefit concert at BB King's. For those of you who know New York, BB King's, unfortunately, based on the pandemic, is closed. But BB King's, famous blues venue right in Times Square, in the thick of it. BB King was often there. Some of the best bands and best performances there. And James was getting very close to potentially being the end. It was in his brain, so the doctor they had him all jacked up on steroids and things to deal with pain and to deal with that. He was in and out of it and not quite himself. But they did a benefit concert for esophageal cancer. I don't know how he did it. He was not feeling that great. We took him in a car in a wheelchair, and he drummed like his fucking life depended on it. And I got to see him in concert at BB King's in a band, surrounded by his family, surrounded by his friends, drumming his fucking life out. He had lost his hair at this point, didn't have eyebrows, cracking jokes like a maniac. Think he might have smoked a cigarette backstage, had a few beers. And I was there. I flew in from Alaska at that time. We didn't know how long he was going to be around. Of course, you're always hoping for the best, and you're refusing to admit that you might not see him again. And a week later, he passed away with my brother next to him. But I've always admired him because of that. And that happened in 2003. I didn't get into stand-up. I got into stand-up and acting and left my corporate world 6 years later. But that was an indelible moment in my life where I witnessed someone who was living their dreams on their own hero journey, doing everything that they wanted to do in their life. And he'd achieved so many amazing things. And then I saw it taken away, everything. Everything was taken away from him. And he didn't really have control over that. And so I clocked that. And it took me a few years to transition from corporate world into acting and performing. But I always realized I was like, I don't ever want to die not having known I took a swing playing the game that I want to play. And in London, Ontario in 2009, I remember it vividly. I went to see 8 Mile and Notorious. That's Eminem's origin story movie and Notorious B.I.G.'s origin story movie. Fucking great movies, great artist movies. I was so inspired by both of those movies, had the seed planted by my brother and his ordeal. And I had the moment where I was like, you know what? I'm either going to do this now and get into this. And at the time it was stand up first. I started with some YouTube videos and then got into stand up. I answered an ad, like a Craigslist ad that said, so you want to be a comedian? And then that led to an amateur night and I never stopped. But I had the idea of, I'm either going to do this now or I'm going to die on my deathbed and be thinking, what would have happened to my life if I had attempted this? Why didn't I attempt this? And I had the idea of like, I don't ever want to be one of those people who dies with regrets. I want to leave it all out on the table. And the lesson from my brother was that play your game. Play your game. Go down fucking swinging if you're going to go down, but play your game. Be in the game that you want to play as often as you can be in it. So if you're a person who's not in the acting world right now, start doing it. If you're a person who is in it, but you're 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and you're still holding on to that day job, get more into the game. And it's okay to strike out and it's okay to die, because that's going to happen to all of us. But don't die without taking a swing. Take 3 big fucking cuts. Maybe you foul a couple off. Maybe you strike out. Maybe you hit a home run. But the thing that you want to do is make sure that you don't die with any regrets. So this leads us to our next steps. So we're here at the audition hero journey. The next step / first steps. Where do we start? Where do you start? This is where I want everyone on the call to start today. And thank you for everyone. I've been seeing the hearts pop off here like crazy for my brother. James Larson, say his name. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I love those. I love those. Thank you. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for all that love and for him. So the next step is today, this is what I want you to do, is I want you to think of those struggles and frustrations, sort of the pre-hero. If you think of the hero's journey, where you're in your regular life now, but you want to get to the other side of things. I want you to think about, what is your life going to be like if you don't embark on this hero's journey? If you don't up-level your auditions, if you don't step up in your life, where are you going to be? Where are you going to be on your deathbed? Who is going to be affected by that? Your spouse, your families, your community around you. If you just remain where you are right now, is that going to haunt you? Is that going to affect your family life? Are you going to be able to look your kids in the eye someday and be like, I never went for it, but I hope you did, or I hope you do. So I want you to think about those frustrations that you're having. Some of you popped off about motivation and struggling and not being enough and all those things. Thank you, Deanna, for sharing. Fun fact, it's Larsen En. It's the Danish Larsen, Larsen. But that's very close. That's the Swedish version, like the boats, Larsen boats, for those of you who are familiar with Larsen boats. So I want you to think about all those frustrations, especially the mindset things, all the things that you tell yourself, all the things that if someone else told you, you wouldn't accept it. You would be like, back the fuck away from me. Don't get me down with your shitty vibes. I know what I'm going for you. Think about those frustrations. And then I want you to think about what is the life on the other side of that. If you shed that old self, you shed that imposter syndrome, you shed that lone wolf syndrome for a lot of us, and join a community, you shed that fixed mindset of, oh, I don't know what I need to know. And you grow into a growth mindset where you're like, okay, it's fine that I don't know everything right now, but I'm going to start learning these things. I'm going to start moving on the path. And I want you to start picturing your life vividly. What does that mean for you? What is that 6 figures and 7 figures going to do for you and your family? What is that first, even if it's a day player role, what is that first role going to do for all the actors around you when they've turned to Netflix? And even if they just see you for one scene where you're the hot dog vendor and it's just, oh, quick, yeah, what do you want? Okay, here's your dog. Boom, you're gone. What is that going to do for them? So think about that dream life on the other side of things. And I want to add one thing. I wasn't planning on saying this. I want to add this though. I understand where it comes from, but I fucking hate it. I hate it. And this is a very, this is a little counterintuitive to what a lot of us have been told as actors. We've all heard the term, there's no small roles, there's only small actors. And I understand where that's coming from. You can't, I mean, you need an ensemble, you need bit players, but really ask yourself, do you want to be a bit player in your own life? Are you background in your own fucking life right now? Or do you want to be the lead? Do you want to be the Frodo? Do you want to be the Luke Skywalker? Do you want to be the Katniss? Do you want to be the Hermione or Harry Potter? Where do you want to be? And guess what? There are small roles. There are small roles. It's a smaller script. It's a shorter audition. It's smaller days on set. It's a smaller fucking trailer. It's a smaller car that brings you there. It's a smaller paycheck. I think that's bullshit. There are small roles. You got to decide, do you want small roles in your life or on set? Or are you aiming to be the lead and the supporting and the ensemble? Because make no mistake, there are small roles. The world is filled with small-minded people and small-rolled people who are literally playing background in their own lives, if they're even in their own lives at all. There are small roles. Everything about them is small, especially the paycheck. And the people on this call, I know how talented some of you are. There are so many people on this call right now that have what it takes. If you don't have it right now, you at least have the drive and the desire and the heart and the energy and the mentors and the guides around you through your acting coaches to get to that point, to release yourself from playing a small role in your own life and sometimes in whatever market you're in. Maybe your agent says, oh, well, that's all you're going to get. I mean, you get to make the decision whether you're going to be a bit player for the rest of your life. You get to make the decision. Is your career going to be 5 lines or less on 2 or 3 shows every year, which God bless those people. If that's what you want to do, that's okay. But I bet every one of the people on this call right now want to be heroes, not only in your own life, but you want to be lead roles. You want to be power players. You want to be one-man shows, one-woman shows. You want to be on Broadway. You want all the lights on you. And when you get there, the amazing thing is once you're the hero in your own life, then you can continue on to become the guide where all of a sudden you're the hero for other people. And then you're able to help other people get to where they want to go in your life, just like we're doing here at Audition Club. So love that. Pop off some of those comments, Brandon. Lars says, wow, felt a rush of energy. Or Trace says, a rush of energy. Thank you so much. Tessie, you are Gandalf. You're so powerful. It's ridiculous. Anyone who knows you, Tessie, you're like this druid goddess. Yeah, you have unbelievable strength mixed with amazing vulnerability as well too. So you're amazing. Camille says leading role in my own life. Thank you, Camille. Camille's one of the most amazing people at manifesting things and believing things. And she's already off to an amazing start in 2022. Deanna says, I'm Frodo, small only in height. Hopefully she doesn't have those big hairy feet. But if you do, you got to do you, Deanna. Who cares? Joao Pino says, we got big minds. We're dreamers and fighters. Amazing. Love all this, everyone. Ksenia says, Mama Terra equals Tessie. Mama Earth. Yeah. Mother Earth. Yeah. Tessie, you're like I don't even think Tessie is of this world. Tessie, you're of some elvish. Frodo met you when she went to Isildur and met the elves. Was it Isildur? I don't know if I'm saying it right. All right. So those are the first steps. So again, think about your struggles and frustrations now. Think about the world that will remain if you stay in them. Think about everything you're going to miss. Think about your deathbed, especially. Fast forward to when you're 120 years old and you're saying goodbye to everyone, like Frodo when he went off on the boat. Like Frodo was feeling pretty good when he went off. No, not Frodo. Bilbo when he went off on the boat when he was older. Brandon just gave me the thumbs up there that I nailed the Frodo Bilbo. You mix them up. So think about that, and then think about where you'll be, where you are today. But if you make the decision to step into your own life as your own hero, your own career as your own hero, where are you going to be? What opportunities, what money, what things for your family, what things for your friends, for your community. Now, we have two big things to announce. This is contest time. So ding, 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 ding. This is specifically for Joanna Whaley. ABK, everyone. I'm big on acronyms. Always be kazooing. Always be kazooing. If you don't own at least one kazoo right now in your life, you need to get more kazoos. Love kazoos. Okay. Two big things I want to announce. One is that we held a contest for our current members of Actors Audition Club here through Laughing Vikings. And we put out a call to all of our members to submit audition hero videos, talking about where they've been, talking about their own journeys as actors, talking about their relationship with us here at the studio. As I mentioned, we've helped hundreds of actors in thousands of auditions here in studio and also via Zoom. So we put out a call to some of our members to say, submit a video. We want to hear from you. And we have boiled those down to 3 finalists. Drum roll, 3 finalists. The winner is going to get a big prize package. First, they're going to get an annual membership to Actors Audition Club, which has got a value of a couple $100 right there. And then a 10-pack of audition sessions, either in studio or via Zoom, where they can hook up with a session director via Zoom or in our studio here or in a city where we do have a studio. By the way, we are expanding as well. So if you're in a city where we don't have a studio, maybe we could connect and you could help run one of the studios for us in your city. But we put together a prize package. It's going to be an annual membership plus a 10-pack. And I'm going to get a nice Laughing Vikings Audition Hero t-shirt for our winners. We have 3 finalists. We're going to announce them today. And then for everyone on the call today, we have a new contest just for you today to win some prizes. But our 3 finalists for our in-house Audition Hero contest for our current members, drum roll, please. I can hear them at home. Everyone drum rolls. Brandon says no more kazoos. That's because he's got he's backstage with the headphones on right now, so he's got to listen to it. Drum roll, please. Our Audition Hero finalists for 2022 are, number 1, these are in no particular order, Jareen Ignatius. Jareen Ignatius, give it up for Jareen. Also a member of the Totteroff weekly Zoom workshop, I believe. Jareen, we love you. We love working with you. Jareen's a person who throughout the pandemic, we started connecting with via Zoom. And every time she gets an audition, she hops on a Zoom. Yes, we love Jareen too. She's amazing. She's got amazing energy. She's such a learner. She's always a gamer. She's always a player. Every time we ever suggest an idea to her, she immediately implements it. She's so fun. She's so endearing. She's so funny. And she is one of our Audition Hero finalists. Now, on day 2, we're going to play these videos. We're going to introduce you to some of our current Audition Heroes. And by the end of the day 3, we're going to announce the grand prize winner. But drum roll, please. The second finalist is Adam Daniel Mizzay. Adam Daniel Mizzay, another Audition Hero. Might not be a harder worker in the business here in Toronto. This guy, even when he doesn't have auditions, he just books sessions here to come in with Brandon, and he works audition material. He does improv sessions because he's a huge believer in improving his craft and working on his craft. And rather than like a lot of actors, they're like, oh, I haven't had an audition in a month. I haven't got an email from my agent. So what can I do? I'm trying to be an actor, but I don't get an audition. Well, guess what? You can act without an audition. And he does it all the time. He comes here for his auditions, but he also books audition sessions where he comes in just to workshop new scripts and new audition material. Often they'll just do improv. So he's working his audition craft, he's working his muscles, and he's staying sharp. And he's starting to see the fruits of that labor. He's starting to book. He was able to get a brand new agent recently, and he's off to the races. So we love you, Adam. You're a huge part of the community here. So thank you for being a part of that. That's Adam Daniel Mizzay. And our third finalist, never stop drumming. He's on the call right now, and we fucking love him. Shaquille James Hostin, everyone, is our third finalist. He's, I believe, using a Facebook alias right now. You might see him there as Monsa King. Shaquille's amazing. He's an actor, and he's also a pro wrestler as well. So he does all these amazing things. One day he's going to be just like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And huge news for Shaquille. Such a hard worker. He does so many auditions here. We've helped him with so many. He always comes in with that. I love him because he has that killer mindset. He's coming in. You could see it in his fucking eyes where he's like, I'm coming in to get this. You come in and he's got his game face on and he's serious. He's still fun and he's still very charismatic, but he's, he comes in and he's ready to play. He's like, I'm serious about this. And huge news on Monday, his episode just aired here in Canada on CBC on a beloved show called Murdoch Mysteries, which is in like season 15. Being on Murdoch Mysteries is Toronto's Law and Order. Law and Order for the New York actors. It's kind of like a rite of passage. Like every actor in New York, at some point you're on Law and Order. Here in Toronto, at some point you're going to end up on Murdoch Mysteries. It's a period piece like in the 1900s, kind of old-fashioned Canadians. And Murdoch is solving crimes. And Shaquille just had an incredible role where he was featured in an episode. Great episode with another huge Canadian actor, Colin Mockery. Some of you might know Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It? Is It Anyways? Colin's the quirky old guy that never knows how to sing when they do the sing. That's what he's hilarious. He's also beloved. So it's a beloved show. He had scenes with Colin Mockery, legend of a Canadian actor. So congratulations to you, Shaquille James Hostin. And he booked that audition here in our studio. So we had the opportunity to work with him on the sides, to see the sides, help suggest things and help him work through it, submit it. He booked it. So huge news. So once again, congratulations to the 3 finalists, Jareen Ignatius, Adam Daniel Mizzay, and Shaquille James Hostins. On day 2 and or day 3, you'll see those videos and you'll get to see their journey. And then by the end, we'll announce the grand prize winner, which is an annual membership with Actors Audition Club and a 10-pack of audition sessions to help you with your auditions. So that basically for the rest of the year, you don't need to think about that. We got you here at Audition Club. Now, contest for the rest of you heroes. All of you are on different hero journeys. So here is the contest. You got to do this by tonight at midnight. Tonight at midnight. So it's going to be a quick acting contest here. I want you to go into the group, the Audition Hero group, the group that you're probably watching this in right now. And I want you to go live in the group. It's going to be scary, but you're all actors and you need to step up into your hero mindset. You don't need to go live for long. Let's keep it to 3 minutes or less. If it's a minute, that's fine. I want you to go live in the group and I want you to share those thoughts, kind of like a journal thought. I want you to share the thoughts of what are your current frustrations and struggles? What is your life going to be like if you continue to remain and or allow yourself to sit in those struggles and frustrations? And then what is your life going to be like when you release that, become a hero, and step into your dream role? So I would love to hear in that video what your dream role is. So something like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm Lars. I'm here in the Audition Hero group. My struggles right now, I'm dealing with motivation, imposter syndrome. I don't have a great agent, but you know what? Fuck that. I feel like if I stay in that mode, I'm not going to step up to the plate. I'm going to miss out on these opportunities. I'm going to end up dying on my deathbed and have all these regrets. I'm not going to live this amazing life that I have laid out for myself. But what if I step into the hero's mindset? What are my dream roles? What's the life I'm going to lead? And I would also like an action step in there too. So like, what's step number one? If you think you need to overcome something, do you need to enroll in a class? Do you need to go get new headshots? Do you need to have a talk with your agent? Do you need to start maybe listening to more motivational things or mindset, mantras, manifesting, those kind of things? So what's step one for you? So the contest is go into the Facebook group by midnight tonight, 1 minute to 3 minute live video. Just quickly go live. Hey, what's up? I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And then we're going to pick one of them before Tuesday. We'll pick it. And one of you, maybe we'll do a couple consolation prizes as well, but we're going to dish out some audition sessions. If you're not in Toronto, those will be Zoom audition sessions. So next time you have an audition pop up through your agent or otherwise, connect with us on the house. One of our session directors, could be me, could be Brandon, could be Amy, could be Lucy, could be Kat. And we'll connect with you via Zoom. We'll work that audition with you, get it in the best shape it can be, and help you record that audition without tech troubles, without having to bug your family and friends, so that you can book that role in TV and film. And we'll dish those out. If you're in Toronto, that can be a studio session as well. Oh, look, the blur. See, I get talking so fast, I go blurry. Am I going to get it back? Here we are. 1 second. Stand by. I want to make sure to say goodbye properly to all of you. There we are. Look. And we're back. There we are. Okay. So is it clear? Pop off in the comments here. Trace Taylor's got a question mark. Question mark. Trace, any questions? You guys got it? Your mission, should you choose to accept it, heroes, is to share vulnerably what your struggles are. What is your life going to be like if you remain in those struggles versus what is your life going to be like if you step up to be the hero that you know you can be inside? What's your life going to be like? What is the opportunity? How is your life going to change? And maybe the first step that you're going to do. We want to hear from you. Do that in the Facebook group live, in a live video. If for some reason you can't do it live, I would prefer them live because that just puts you on the spot. I don't want you guys to have to like record a video and then hit delete and rewind and delete and delete. I just want you to go live, speak from the heart. Just do it out in one blur. Don't overthink it. And we're going to pick a few and we're going to dish out those free audition sessions, and we will announce those at the beginning of day 2, which is Tuesday, February 1st at 6 p.m. Don't worry if by chance throughout this Audition Hero series, if you have conflicts and you can't make a certain part, all of these will be available. The replays will be available, but you got to be on the call to win the prize. That's the only caveat. You got to be on the call to win the prize. Facebook user says, can you extend? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, 7. Okay. Yes. All right. So midnight tonight, if you're in a weird time zone overseas, not a weird time zone, you're in where you live, you're in a great time zone. Wherever you are, you're in a great time zone. We're going to do it. Let's make it noon, 24 hours. Okay. How about 24 hours? 24 hours. 24 hours from now. wherever you are right now. Here it's 8 o'clock. And thank you for your patience today. We did go a little longer than we thought we would today. I get rambling. Once I get blurry. We're going to give it 24 hours, but maybe I'll give a fast acting bonus. That's what I'm going to do. Fast acting bonus. For those of you who do get it in by midnight tonight, you're going to be included in the bunch. We'll do a draw for all those people. And then for the people that needed the extension, we'll do a second tier prize as well. But get it in early and you'll have a better chance at winning that prize. Yeah. So Joao, of course, it's 1 a.m. in Portugal. But I mean, it only takes 1 more minute. You could do it right now in 1 minute, Joao. All right. Yes. Joao says, this is my life, my passion. I've gone blurry here again. The blur. All right. I think that when I go blurry, that means I need to get food. I think I need to get food in me. Facebook user says, thanks a lot. I get school tomorrow, but I stayed up till 3 a.m. Oh, man. You know how I know you're going to be a hero? Because you did what it takes. Thank you. You're amazing. You're amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Be the hero in your own lives, everyone. Step up into your dream role in 2022. We'll be looking for those contest videos and stay tuned. You'll all get an email. You'll get a link. We're going to be in the same spot here in the Facebook group Tuesday, February 1st at 6 p.m. for day 2. I love all of you so much. Hope you learned a lot. And again, shed that old self. Step up in 2022. Be the hero that you know you can be. Live your life and step into that dream role. All right. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.